Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of the Virtually Free podcast. I cannot believe the journey has led here, but I am so excited. And there are a million topics I could kick off season 2 with, but I kind of have been seeing a lot of people saying that they are being dropped from clients or clients are suddenly canceling them, etc., etc. And so I wanted to share a few of my experiences about, being fired and terminated or being let go without any notice. So obviously it's never a great feeling when you are let go. Now, in this freelance space, I do not refer to this as let go or fired. When I am talking about myself, I say the contract was terminated or the contract ended or whatever. I don't like the word fired or let go because I am an equal. I'm not an employee. I'm a partner. I'm a contractor. So if it comes to it and we can't resolve whatever the issue is, then we part ways, we terminate the contract, we dissolve the contract, whatever the case is. But you as a freelancer, as a virtual assistant, you are never fired. I don't like that word. It seems like it's a common word that the man uses in corporate, and I don't like that. So we're not being fired, we're not being terminated, but our contracts might be terminated and we just might not be a good fit. So I just want to tell you guys some stories of contracts that I've had that ended abruptly, ended with little to no notice, and what I did, how I moved past that. And I want you to know it's totally normal. The best of the best sometimes get, their contracts get terminated, and it's okay. And sometimes it's not your fault. There are a million reasons why a client might end a contract, and sometimes it is. And guess what? I have stories, personal stories for both. So I'm going to start. I have multiple clients who ended their contract with me because their business wasn't thriving or they could no longer afford me. Now, my job as the virtual assistant is not to get clients or sales in the door for the client. Unless I was like their marketing director or their director of sales, as a virtual assistant, no ma'am, that is not your job. Your job is to assist the CEO, assist whomever you're contracted under, and support them. Your job is not to get sales, to get coaching clients, whatever the case is. So multiple people I've worked with, mainly smaller mom and pops, business wasn't going as quickly or booming as quickly as they had hoped it was, and they had to cut costs, cut expenses, and unfortunately, us virtual assistants are the first ones to go. It's no secret that when they look at their expenses, if you are providing any sort of quality work, you're going to have high prices. So, of course, they think I'm going to do, I can do that. We don't need somebody to do this. I can do this. Well, let's term the contract and so will take over what the VA is doing. And that's fine. I will say, I would say 7 out of 10 times this has happened to me, they have come back and said, we had no idea what all you were doing. Please come back. Please join the team again. We want to partner back up with you. We want a new contract, whatever it is, because we did not know all that you did. That's how you know you're doing something right. When they come back to you and they say, listen, we aren't making great money, but the value in the work that you did surpasses any sort of budget cut that we needed to make. So they bring you back on. Now, unfortunately, when they do that, it's kind of like they do it for one or two reasons, right? They know the value and what you're bringing to the table, or they're just kind of lazy and they don't want to do it. And so you have to really think and consider, do I want to bring this client back on? So here's what you need to ask yourself. The client terminates the contract. You need to ask yourself this: did I enjoy the work? Did I enjoy working with the client? And did they provide me with the full termination notice? So some VAs have a 30-day clause, some have a 2-week. It's completely up to you. And what that means is, if I am a client and I am going to terminate services, I have to give you a 30-day notice, or I have to give you a 2-week notice. Ask yourself, did they abide by that? If that is not in your contract, put it in there. Stop what you're doing, pause this podcast, and go put that in your contract, because it's so important to have that clause. It really covers you financially if your contract is being put on hold or terminated. So I've definitely had my fair share of clients not honoring my termination clause, and sometimes I fight it and sometimes I don't. Just recently, I had a client, it was $1,000 a month client, and the day before her contract or her invoice renewed, she messaged me and said, hey, we're cutting costs. We really appreciate all of the social media and marketing you're doing, but I really think I can do this. Okay, well then, I told them, wow, that is a very short notice. You know, I do require X amount of days, but I'll go ahead and, term the service renewal. Could I have fought and said, hey, my contract requires X amount of days notice? Let's just, for example, say it's 30. I could have fought that and said, no, according to the contract that you and I both signed, I require a 30-day cancellation notice. So you still have another 30 days. I will put it in the notes that come the next month, you will not be charged. You will not be drafted. Services will end. I didn't do that. Sometimes it's not worth the fight for me. I mean, I don't love it. Obviously, nobody does. But it wasn't worth the argument. It wasn't worth the fight. And I said, okay, best of luck to you. And please remove me from all of your login, accounts for Facebook and whatever. Then I have other clients who are like, hey, I saw that it was a 30-day termination. This is my 30-day notice. Amazing. I always ask for feedback, ask for a testimonial. If I know my team and I did not do one thing wrong, I will send them my regular scheduled, end of service form so that they can complete that and my team and I can grow from whatever feedback they have. Now, there have been times where a mistake was made from my team and we have been terminated. What did I do? I certainly did not require them to have the 30 days. I apologized profusely, and I also still sent them the end of services form. I want to know what they felt we lacked in, what area. I want to know what the mess up was exactly. I gotta be honest though, when this particular client released us, I felt this wave of relief wash over me because it was so demanding. I felt like my team and we were constantly groveling at this client's feet. And she was a coach and claimed to have, manifested a lot of stuff and all of that. You know me and my values. They don't align with woo-woo and manifestation and things like that. If you want it, you speak it, you claim it, and you pray about it. That's me. If that's not you, if you are woo-woo, I invite you to stay here and just listen to what I have to say. I invite you to my Instagram page. Everybody is welcome. But when it comes to the clients I bring in, I guard who I bring in and introduce to my team a lot more now. I should have known and listened to my gut. There were red flags, but I thought, it's a lot of money. It's a big contract. Like, why not? But now we know, right? You live and you learn. Now, how on earth do you think I felt after all of those terminations? And now, granted, this is not within 1 year. This is like 6 years of VA service work being done, right? So obviously, every single time it's like, oh, I cannot believe, what could I have done differently? I can't believe I got fired. You use and throw that F word around. And what I tend to do is I just step back and reflect, okay, was I as prompt as I could have been? What did I learn? What did I do right? What do I feel like I crushed? What do I feel like I could improve on and work on, perhaps even start doing with my current clients? So there's always a learning opportunity when it comes to contracts ending, being terminated, the contracts being terminated. There's always a learning opportunity. Now, if every time a contract ends, you're like, well, I didn't do anything wrong, their loss. How dare she fire me? How dare she do that to me? Then, okay, first of all, we need to calm down. This is not life or death, okay? Yes, money is involved, but you can make more. What are you taking away from that experience? And then always ask yourself, if this client comes back to me, would I take them back on? Sometimes they'll never speak to you again, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Sometimes contracts will end and you did nothing wrong. The business is doing great, but it's just time to move on. You've outgrown the role, and perhaps the client notices that and there's not a role available within their business structure, and it's time to move on. And that's okay. That is why you have to continuously network and market yourself. If you are not networking and you are not building a warm leads list for your business, you could get stuck in the gutter. You could get left out in the dark if a client that has a huge retainer with you decides, we're good, we don't need your services. What would you do right now if your largest client tomorrow said, I'm not giving you 30 days, bam, I'm done, I'm ending? What would you do? You probably wouldn't be very happy about it, but what would your wallet, how would your wallet feel, right? Constantly be open and available to warm leads. Network the crap out of yourself, because when it comes to gaining or replacing income, the first place you should start is with your warm leads list and with your current clients. So I want you to know, if you get terminated, if your contract gets terminated, if your service agreement ends, it's not the end of the world. More clients will come, clients that will appreciate what you're doing, clients that will actually want to pay you more than what you're charging. And when you find those clients, you hold them on a pedestal, because those are the ones that value the work that you're doing within their business. And you, if you serve them and you are living up to their standards of what a virtual assistant is and what you should be doing within their business, you, some way or another, you will be blessed. I firmly believe you reap what you sow. So no, even if it's a client that drives you insane, always do your best work. Always, no matter what. You reap what you sow. Put forth your best work, and I promise you, the dream clients are coming. Just hang on in there. They're on their way. But in the meantime, if you do get terminated, your contract is terminated, or your contract is ending, whatever the case may be, don't give up. Don't be frustrated with yourself. You can be sad for a little bit, but let's not live there, okay? Yep, feel the feelings, go through the motions, whatever, get a glass of wine, and then we pick it up, we rally, we pivot, and we keep going. And this is a cycle you will have to do for your entire freelance career. Nothing is ever promised. Even in corporate, nothing's promised. It's just a lot harder to terminate you when you live in the corporate world, when you work for a corporate business. There's tons of hoops and bounds and legal stuff that they have to consider, where when you're a freelancer and a contractor, all of that kind of doesn't exist. So it's important that you have a contract. It's important that you have your terms in the contract. But above all of that, it's most important that you understand what happened during that time, that service time, what went great, what didn't go so great, how can we rise above, how can we be better, how can we serve better, and you will always come out on top if you are putting forth your best. So the next time a contract ends or a service agreement is terminated, feel the feels, let it happen. Don't live there. Brush yourself off, pick yourself up, and reach out to your warm leads. Start networking, keep it going. Just because somebody has terminated the contract does not mean you will never get another one. And truth be told, when one door closes, another one opens. And hopefully on the other side of that closed door, you are living virtually free.